Welcome, Jackie. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here to interview with the Cherokee County Republican Party. I am Lori Pesta, the chairman of this committee, and I'm going to have each one of the panelists go ahead and introduce themselves, starting with Harry at that end.
Harry Abrams.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Jackie.
Bill Terrell, good afternoon, Jack.
Good afternoon, Doug.
Tim Adderhold.
Hi, Tim.
Jack Stevens.
Hi, Jack. The purpose of the vetting process is meant to allow members of the party and the community to be able to understand the positions, views, and beliefs of the issues and questions held by those who wish to be elected as a representative of the people. In other words, we want to make it more accessible for the community voters to find out who you are and what you represent, since you are running for chairman of this county. I want to make sure that you're fully aware that we are recording this event, this interview, and we will be videotaping it, and it is in its entirety without any editing or commentary, and that you agree to such recording.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what we'll do now, we have a list of several questions which all address basically the topics that we expressed in the letter that I sent to everyone, an email letter. You have 2 minutes to answer each question, and we start at one end of the table and work around the table. Each person asks a question, and I have some individual questions as well. So we'll start with Harry at that end, and we'll go ahead and get started. And thank you for being here again.
Thank you, Lori.
Hi, Jackie. Are you currently a member of the Cherokee County Republican Party?
Yes, I am.
How do you see your involvement going forward, regardless of the outcome of this election?
I will continue to stay involved.
Bill?
Oh, Jackie, hey. What is the job description, your job description of the chairman's role?
Well, the job description is serving the people, managing a $170 million budget, making decisions that are in the best interest of Cherokee County citizens, and putting them first and foremost.
You may have to speak up a little bit more. You have a soft voice, and that camera's trying to catch you.
Okay.
You don't
I'll
mind.
speak
Thank you
up.
so much. Tim?
Would you oppose public dialogue during a commissioner's meeting?
Absolutely not.
What plans do you care to present to prevent the ball ground recycling issue from happening again?
I will never pledge our taxpayer dollars for a private enterprise. It's similar to the Solyndra, when you pick and choose winners and losers. That is not the business of government.
Harry?
What plans, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. Current county law states a noise ordinance is enforced during the hours of 11 p.m. to 6 p.m. when the marshal's office is closed. Who should one contact during these times for this and other issues like animal control?
I would suggest calling 911 if it's an emergency and having a deputy come. Seeing that if it is that disturbing in the middle of the night, there's perhaps something else going on that would need to be addressed by law enforcement.
Okay.
Jackie, what's your position on the bill to make certain offices, sheriff, district attorney, county commissioners, and the court clerk, nonpartisan?
I do not support nonpartisan. I'm a Republican.
What is your position on term limits?
Term limits, I believe, at least no more than 2 terms, period.
Are there any conditions under which you would advocate raising millage rates?
Unfortunately, the situation that the current administration has gotten us into has allowed a New York bank the opportunity to raise our millage rate, of which I would have no control over. That was a deal that was already cut. So I would be doing everything in my power to make sure that we do not increase that, so that the Bank of New York never has to act on that increase in the millage rate as well.
Thank you. Next question. Harry?
What is the unemployment rate in Cherokee County?
I believe the unemployment rate is lower than 5%. As recent newspaper article, you may have to correct me on that one, but I believe it's less than 5%.
Thank you.
Bill?
Jackie, for the solutions to the traffic and other infrastructure issues, do you support the regional approach, such as the Atlanta Regional Commission, or another method of dealing with these issues?
Well, if you were to ask me if I supported T-Splost, I did not. I believe that the T-Splost was actually something that did not have Cherokee County taxpayers in the front of the solutions. That it was definitely benefiting more outside of our region. I do think that there needs to be something done, especially along Highway 20. It's sad that it has taken this long to get us to where we are today, but I'm dedicated and determined to make sure that we can create a safe road along Highway 20, which is where I live. And I can testify to many, many, many tractor trailers that speed through wide open, 65 miles an hour, many, many times. And it's just a very treacherous stretch of roadway.
Excellent, thank you.
There are a number of issues the agriculture industry is facing in Georgia, including water use, state and federal regulation compliance, tax reform, and immigration reform. What is your plan to address these issues for the agriculture community in Cherokee County?
I need to know what they need first before I can address the solution.
Okay.
Should candidates for public office be required to release their tax records? And, that's it.
That's it.
I believe, say your question again?
I marked it.
Should candidates for public office be required to release their tax records?
I believe in certain levels of running for office, especially our President of the United States, then those are required. I don't necessarily think that they need to be released to every single level for school board members, for Board of Commissioners perhaps, for any other races. I think that would be something that the public would need to decide, and if that's something that they need to have, if they feel that that is being more transparent, then I would agree. I have nothing to hide.
Okay, thank you.
Is the county large enough to have a county police force?
I think we would need to defer that to the highest law enforcement officer in the county. I do not understand I do not know the answer to that question as to whether or not we would benefit. I would need to know what the pros and the cons were before I could make a decision in that manner, and make sure that there's no slip in services, make sure that the constituents would be in agreement as well.
Jackie, what's the commission's role in information infrastructure such as internet communications?
Well, we need to have the infrastructure in place, and if we're trying to draw in some of the industries and businesses which are more geared towards the white-collar business, if you will, then we definitely need to be able to provide the ability for them to connect, such as here in the Metro Atlanta community, we have Cox Communications. They are a communications industry. They would have to rely solely on being able to connect to all of their different locations throughout the globe. So if we don't have that in place, then it would be impossible for them to, or any other business similar to consider us as an option. So that would be important that we have that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you support the public release of the Ball Ground Recycling Center audit?
Yes, I do. Exclamation mark.
Currently, the legal aid for Cherokee County costs around $700,000. Could this be reduced?
Absolutely, it could be reduced, and it should be reduced. There is, I believe it's around $5 million that has been spent for out-of-county legal services. And what this means is every taxpayer dollar that is spent on this out-of-service legal fee is the taxpayer dollars from Cherokee County that are driving right across the county line into Forsyth County. And I know full well that we have so many talented attorneys in our area. If we were just to do an interview and find someone that would be willing to be an in-house attorney, maybe one attorney, maybe two attorneys, if the load was would warrant that, I believe that we could save a significant amount of money by having someone in-house that was truly working in the best interest of the citizens of Cherokee County and keeping them in the forefront, especially those that call Cherokee County home. Good question.
What is the life of the Ball Ground Recycling Center bond?
over the life of principal and interest, if we continue to pay
Right.
to the end of the term, it is roughly $35 million. Was that your question?
No, on the actual term. Years.
Oh, 2037.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jackie, what can the Cherokee County Commission do to spur economic development?
I'm glad you asked. One of my strengths is that I've been in business development. My territory was sea to shining sea and everywhere in between. So I have a different approach. I think we need to be much more proactive rather than reactive and start looking for the types of industries that we would want to have in place. It's not a secret when people are looking to move out of a different county. You just have to know where to look. Not that we would want to draw out of Cobb County or out of Gwinnett County or out of Forsyth County because they are our neighbors. But if we can draw more businesses into this area, that would help bolster the economic growth opportunity. But we can't forget, we have existing industries here that we want to continue to help them expand. There are several of them that have expanded over the period of the last couple decades. Pilex is one of them that has started here, and they've been here for over 20 years, and they've just expanded this past year for ribbon cutting. So that would be a focus, not only the new businesses to take a proactive approach, but also to foster opportunities for our existing industries to grow.
Good, thank you.
Cherokee County currently owns a number of properties. Should these be sold?
I would need to have a list of all of the properties to be able to know where they are, where they're located, and what their values are. If now is the time to sell, then perhaps we do need to sell them, but I think we would need to take that by an individual case-by-case basis. As I understand it, we own quite a bit of land. I don't know everything we own, but I would certainly want to address that. And if it would warrant it, yes. But first, we need to make sure that we really own it before we put a for sale sign on it.
That's a good point. Jack?
Do you support a T-SPLOS initiative?
No, I already answered that. Thank you, Jack. No, I did not support T-SPLOST. No.
No, would you support?
Would I?
Do you support
Do you
the T-SPLOS initiative? Not the
No.
old one, would you consider a new one?
I am what you call a non-tax and spend person. I do not believe that we need to keep taxing the people. We need to find out how we can use what we have better and be a better steward of the resources that we have.
Thank you.
Where can the county budget be trimmed?
Start with the attorneys. That would be my first, knee-jerk reaction would be to start with our attorneys, our county attorneys. We don't need to be spending $5 million over the past several years for county attorneys to sue the cities, as an example. When in 2007, under the current administration, I was sitting on the Holly Springs City Council, where I served for 10 years, nearly 10 years. And during that time, the city was sued by the county 2 times. We had to take it all the way to the Georgia Supreme Court, one of them, and we won both of those cases. So as a taxpayer, I had to not only pay my taxes to the city, but I also had to pay taxes into the county. And I had to pay to sue myself and defend myself, not once, but twice. So I think we need to look at how the attorneys, have been used and use them where it makes good business, make sure that we are being once again, a good steward of all the resources, which would include the legal fees and the legal services.
Thank you.
Jackie, do you support interbasin transfers of water?
Say that one more time.
Do you support interbasin transfers of water?
I would need to do more research on that.
What is the current state of the Aquatic Center's bond and finances?
From what I understand with the Aquatic Center, that originally it was scheduled and slated to be in the red until there was a certain sponsor that stepped forward and helped take care of that. From my perspective on the Aquatic Center is I don't agree with taxing our citizens, number one, through the parks bond to pay for it. Then they're taxed again to maintain it. And then they're taxed, or they have to pay a third time to use it. So if you call Cherokee County home and you use the Aquatic Center, you're paying for it 3 times. If a visitor comes in, they're paying once for the user fee. So I don't support the fact that the Aquatic Center was built with our money. I really think that it should have been more of a a business model that someone else could manage, and because I don't believe that we are in the water park business. We're in public service business.
What is the current state of the county?
I'm sorry?
What is the current state of the county?
What is the current state of the county? Can you be more specific with your question?
Give us some idea as to where the county is in reference to growth and opportunities and new businesses and so on. Can you give us the state of the county in that form?
Well, in regards to the state of the county and economic development, we've been very strategic, and I say we because I sit on the Economic Development Authority, to be able to draw in a wonderful new business. And it is situated over at I-75 and Highway 92. It's in Alpha. They're a great business, and they're actually expanding more jobs in the area. I do believe that we're poised for growth. We have a fabulous regional airport. I have been told that we have 500 to 600 visits a month. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I have heard. I've also been made aware that our school systems are really great. We have a lot of great SAT scores. We have kids that have different programs that they're entering into. We have the housing. We have the hospitals that are expanding. So we really have a lot of great things. What we don't have right now are enough jobs to employ our workforce. We have 78.8% of our workforce that leaves Cherokee County each and every day, according to a 2010 survey that we conducted, to go find employment elsewhere. How much better would our county be if the people that actually have to leave our county could actually stay here every day? What kind of increase would that be in them to be able to spend with their family, or to be able to go have their doctor's visits during their lunch break rather than having to take off of work somewhere else and travel far? So, did that answer your question? Okay.
There is no right or wrong answer to these questions.
Oh, I know.
What you think.
Thank you, Lauren.
Let's go into a few things that I do with the candidates. And that you need to think about this as your household answers, okay, not just the personal. That's what they're saying. Have you ever had any license revoked or not renewed for cause, or been the subject of professional discipline, or cited for breach of ethics or unprofessional conduct by any bar association, disciplinary committee, court, administrative agency, or other professional group? Or have you been expelled from any organization, and if so, please explain.
None of the above.
Okay. Have you or has any organization or business under your control ever declared a bankruptcy, or been sued, or currently facing liens or other financial issues?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been arrested or convicted for any crime other than a minor traffic offense?
No.
Okay, just a couple more questions and then we'll be complete. Please describe one instance in which you faced an ethical dilemma and how you resolved that.
I will tell you. And this happened quite recently. As a candidate, there was someone that approached me and asked me if their donation could be not reported. And I said, no, I have to report it. This individual did not want me to report it because this individual was afraid of retaliation for supporting me. So I explained that this is not allowed. I will not participate in it, and refuse to take their money.
Okay. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here and answer these questions. This is the type of interview that will be on the Cherokee County website for all to see. And we'd like to know if there is anything else that you would like to share that we have not already addressed.
There's one thing that I'd like to share, and it happened in this very room. It was back in December of 2013 when the Board of Commissioners sat here with all of the Legislative Assembly, our state senators and our representatives, and I happened to be in the room at the same time. And it was during that meeting that, in an agenda, and I'll be happy to give it to you if you'd like to scan it in. It was during that meeting that, in a and a prepared agenda that the current chairman presented his request for consideration for a raise. And he had supporting documentation to warrant this raise. And when I questioned him about that a couple weeks ago, I could tell that he was uncomfortable, and my response was, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the people. The tagline in my business card and on my website is, I'm a public servant, I'm not a politician. I don't want to do this for the money, but I have done it. And I have the experience, I have what it takes to be able to lead Cherokee into a better tomorrow, because I believe Cherokee County deserves better. I'm looking forward to being involved, and with the voters' support, I'll be able to do that. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. Excellent interview. Thank you so much for answering the questions.
Thank you, Jay.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all, everybody out there.